Read in the book of Daniel, chapter 6 in the King James Version. It pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 princes, which should be over the whole kingdom, and over these 3 presidents, of whom Daniel was first, that the princes might give accounts unto them, and the king should have no damage. Then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and princes, because an excellent spirit was in him, and the king thought to set him over the whole realm. Then the presidents and princes sought to find occasion against Daniel concerning the kingdom, but they could find none occasion nor fault, for as much as he was faithful, neither was there any error or fault found in him. Then said these men, We shall not find any occasion against this Daniel, except we find it against him concerning the law of his God. Then these presidents and princes assembled together to the king, and said thus unto him, King Darius, live forever. All the presidents of the kingdom, the governors and the princes, the counselors and the captains, have consulted together to establish a royal statute, and to make a firm decree, that whosoever shall ask a petition of any god or man for 30 days, save of thee, O king, he shall be cast into the den of lions. Now, O king, establish the decree and sign the writing, that it be not changed according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which altereth not. Wherefore King Darius signed the writing and the decree. Now when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went into his house, and his windows being open in his chamber toward Jerusalem, he kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day, and prayed, and gave thanks before his God, as he did aforetime. Then these men assembled and found Daniel praying and making supplication before his God. Then they came near and spake before the king concerning the king's decree. Hast thou not signed a decree that every man that shall ask a petition of any god or man within 30 days, save of thee, O king, shall be cast into the den of lions? The king answered and said, The thing is true, according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which altereth not. Then answered they, and said before the king, that Daniel, which is of the children of the captivity of Judah, regardeth not thee, O king, nor the decree that thou hast signed, but maketh his petition 3 times a day. Then the king, when he heard these words, was sore displeased with himself, and set his heart on Daniel to deliver him. And he labored till the going down of the sun to deliver him. Then these men assembled unto the king, and said unto the king, Know, O king, that the law of the Medes and Persians is, that no decree nor statute which the king establisheth may be changed. Then the king commanded, and they brought Daniel, and cast him into the den of lions. Now the king spake and said unto Daniel, Thy God, whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee. And a stone was brought and laid upon the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his own signet, and with the signet of his lords, that the purpose might not be changed concerning Daniel. Then the king went to his palace and passed the night fasting. Neither were instruments of music brought before him, and his sleep went from him. Then the king arose very early in the morning, and went in haste unto the den of lions. And when he came to the den, he cried with a lamentable voice unto Daniel. And the king spake and said to Daniel, O Daniel, servant of the living God, is thy God, whom thou servest continually, able to deliver thee from the lions? Then said Daniel unto the king, O king, live forever. My God hath sent his angel, and hath shut the lions' mouths, that they have not hurt me. For as much as before him innocency was found in me, and also before thee, O king, have I done no hurt. Then was the king exceeding glad for him, and commanded that they should take Daniel up out of the den. So Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no manner of hurt was found upon him, because he believed in his God. And the king commanded, and they brought those men which had accused Daniel, and they cast them into the den of lions, them, their children, and their wives, and the lions had the mastery of them, and brake all their bones in pieces, and or ever they came to, at the bottom of the den. Then King Darius wrote unto all people, nations, and languages that dwell in all the earth, peace be multiplied unto you. I make a decree that in every dominion of my kingdom men tremble and fear before the God of Daniel, for he is the living God, and steadfast forever, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed, and his dominion shall be even unto the end. He delivereth and rescueth, and he worketh signs and wonders in heaven and in earth. Who hath delivered Daniel from the power of the lions? So this Daniel prospered in the reign of Darius and in the reign of Cyrus the Persian. Amen and hallelujah. Woo! Darius sounded like Nebuchadnezzar there at the end, didn't he? But Darius understood and humbled himself far before, though. Now, if you want to learn a little bit about Darius, you can go back to the book of Ezra and Nehemiah. You can also go to, there are going to be some more books when we get towards the end of the Old Testament. But there is, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, of course, but Darius, he understood who Daniel was, and he understood that there was some work in him. and so Darius, at the beginning of his kingship, immediately made Daniel a part of his council, because he had saw that Daniel was already had the word, and things that he would say not only came to be, but were excellent knowledge and helpful and beneficial to all people, not just a few people, not just the council, not just the kingship, but the whole nation as a whole. Everything Daniel was providing was benefiting everyone. So, beginning in the first verse, it pleased Darius to set over the kingdom as 120 princes, which should be over the whole kingdom. And so then, and over those three presidents, of whom Daniel was first, that the princes might give accounts unto them, and the king should have no damage. So he immediately put Daniel over even all of his senior council, so that Daniel was next to him, basically. And so, in authority. Again, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. This was not something, remember, they all knew who Daniel was, that Daniel was in exile. So the people of that kingdom weren't too thrilled, especially the council. The people of the kingdom, they already were starting to, things were starting to change. When you get to Esther, when we read Esther, things had changed by then. And I believe Daniel is before Esther. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. According to how this plays out, some people believe that Esther was before, but according to how it was, Daniel was pretty much from the exile. So people's views were starting to change, but within the kingmanship, the council of the kingmanship, who were the Medes and the Persians, they were not too thrilled that you had this person from a conquered land. Now, they did have people from conquered lands in counselor, but not such as a highest position. So, of course, when you, here we go, bringing past to present, we create positions in life. And so you have people who, feel entitled to be in certain positions because of where either them, their family member, or what kind of information and things that they're providing. And so here comes this new person, but not really new, because Daniel had been in a high position before, but new from this time, because of course some of these are new counselor members. And so not too thrilled, because, they felt they may have been in line, they may have been in line to go up that ladder, be the next person, just like in the book of Esther. Who was it that was going against the Hebrews, the Jews during that time. He felt like he was in line, and that's why he told the king, when the king asked him, who do you want to honor, or what should I do when I want to honor somebody? And that's what he told him what he should do. And that honor ended up not being for him, but for Mordecai. As you can see, there's a little bit of some jealousy. There's some envy going on. So what happens? They tell the king to make it a decree that they cannot worship or do anything besides the king only, for 30 days. Because they knew that Daniel worshiped his God. So we're trying to use Daniel's own worship of God, his own life, against him. It's a stretch for these counselors. They are trying their darnest for anything, even making something that's good wrong. Bringing past to present. Sound familiar? So they do this, and Darius didn't know what the intent of this law was for. He just thought, sure, the whole council came to me. Majority of the council came to me and wanted this, and this is majority of the people. So, I can't argue against that, because during even this time, yes, the king can make a decree, but he could be manipulated by the council, as you can see. So he signs this decree. Come to find out, Daniel did not follow the decree. Darius, what happened? Verse 14. Then the king, when he heard these words, was sore displeased with himself, and set his heart on Daniel to deliver him. And he labored till the going down of the sun to deliver him. Complete contrast of Nebuchadnezzar. Remember Nebuchadnezzar, when he heard that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were not wanting to worship his idol, do you remember how angry he got? He said, make the furnace so hot. Okay, make that furnace hot. But that's not what Darius did. So there wasn't that pompous and arrogancy in his control and his authority, and him wanting to harm others because of his own fear. Darius was the correct fear. Darius had the correct fear because he started to recognize and understand that there is a God, and that God is all power, all glory, all holy, the good shepherd, the redeemer, the provider of our salvation. And he knew that Daniel worshiped the true God. And so he had compassion on Daniel, and he wasn't displeased with Daniel for what Daniel was doing in his life, because again, what Daniel was doing in his life was good for his life, and was so good that it was beneficial to others. And the king Darius knew that this wasn't something that was bad, but it was something that good was turned bad by manipulation, but it still was not bad. So what was he? He was sore displeased with himself. Bringing past to present. Accountability and responsibility. Accountability and responsibility. We can see that in reflection in many different ways in our lives. Whether it's accountability and responsibility for our loved one, such as children, whether it's accountability and responsibility within our family, whether it's accountability and responsibility within our community, within our congregation, within our group, within the area that we live, the principality, within the governmentship. Understanding what it is and taking responsibility and accountability. And Darius, he did everything that he could think of. Truly, he did. He even went to Daniel before Daniel being thrown into this, and said to Daniel, this is what he said to Daniel. In verse 16, then the king commanded, and they brought Daniel. There was nothing he could do. In a physical, earthly, of the flesh, there was nothing he could do. And cast him into the den of lions. Now the king spake and said unto Daniel, thy God whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee. He didn't say, I pray, Daniel, that you are delivered. He didn't say that, Daniel, pray to your God that you're going to be safe. He believed he believed, thy God whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee. He believed. So part of taking accountability and responsibility, because it's difficult, the easy button is to blame. You blame, you defer, you deter, you push off, you provide excuses. That is super common. In fact, I believe it is taught. Instead of taking responsibility and accountability. And that is part of faith. Taking responsibility and accountability, because when we make incorrect decisions, taking responsibility and accountability is pushing us to that step forward to him. He knows I'm a sinner. Bring him, like, hello. James made some wrong decisions, even as today. But I also made a lot of right decisions too. By continuing on with this Bible study, by thinking of the Lord and wanting to continually walk in his ways, continually listen, wanting to discover more of worship and walking with the Lord. And whenever my thoughts are with him in the spirit, they're aligned. That's where truth lies. That's where love lies. That's where the miracles lie. So there's a lot here. Sermon upon sermon. And when we are not aligned, though, that's when those things happen. And so I urge you to recognize the love of the Lord. I urge you to understand that accountability and responsibility are a part of our walk with him. Before we go on, though, what kind of thoughts or feelings come to your mind when you read over this? How does it make you feel, and what does it make you think?